Well, hello everyone. Talk to you a little today about being a little bit more customer centric. You know, we many years ago, back around 2001, 2002. A lot of people don't know this, but FindLaw and Westlaw sales consultants carried the same bag. There was one person sold both lines, and so we were trying to figure out at that point in time, what we need to do. And so there was a lot of folks that didn't really know what FindLaw was about way back then. 16 years ago, 17 years ago, most of them didn't want to be on the internet or whatever. So what we would do is we'd go around and do these luncheons, and try to educate lawyers one group at a time as to the importance of trying to be on the internet. Imagine that today. Everybody kind of understands that. But back then we were doing a lot of that. And so as a regional sales manager, it was my role back then was to kind of do this speaking at those luncheons. And one thing that I found was that I was particularly in Louisiana one time, and I was at a lunch, and I don't know, I just had a feeling inside that I just wanted to thank these guys and ladies for doing business with us, not just doing business with possibly doing business with FindLaw, but really and truly doing business with Thomson Reuters all those years. And so I started off my presentation by thanking everybody in there. I said, listen, let me just explain something to you all. We don't get this opportunity very much as a company to be able to tell you that we do appreciate the business that you give us. We know every one of you all have something from either Westlaw. What I'm going to be talking to you all about today is something a little bit different, but if I don't do anything but leave here today with you all knowing that we appreciate how much business that you all give us, that's a win for me. And I will tell you that when I said that the very first time, at the end of that session, I got more people coming up to me thanking me and they're just happy about the fact that we just acknowledged the business that they had given us. And they'd said, like one guy in particular, William, nobody's ever told me that, and I just want you to know that I really appreciate that. So you think about the little things that you can do as a field consultant out in the field or as a manager in the field that make our customers or potential customers feel good. And so based on that, we kind of, at the recent quarterly business reviews, we went through an exercise. I ran them, did so with your directors and each one of your regional managers, and they were also going to have conversations with you over the telephone. From all of that, we were trying to come up with one thing that we could do different that would kind of make a difference for our customers and make them feel a little bit better about doing business with us. And so from that, we actually came up with two, and that is one, anytime we have the opportunity to present in front of our customers and it feels right and it comes across as being sincere, then we do need to thank them not only the business that they give FindLaw, but what they give the business for all of Thomson Reuters. And I think you'll find that if you do that, you'll make a friend for sure, and probably make that sell a little bit easier for you. The second thing we want to do, which is kind of something we probably always do anyway, but some of you it's going to be almost impossible to do because of the amount of accounts that you have, but try to visit your customers every quarter. Don't always try to sell them. Just make sure that they are good and everything's fine. Oftentimes what happens is that opens up opportunity and such as that, but knowing that you're in there every quarter and just checking on them, making sure they're happy, that in itself will make a big difference too. So the two things are, thank them when we can, and visit them as often as we can on a quarterly basis. And I think that if we do just those two things alone, that's going to make things a lot better for our customers. And I'll give you an example. I went fishing, y'all saw that in the last video, to Kona, and when on the way over, I've got right here a little thank you note that I kept actually, because I'm sitting in a seat and all of a sudden the flight attendant walks up, and what they did was they said, hey, this is for you, Mr. Ballard. And first of all, they knew who I was, and which kind of floored me a little bit. But the second thing is the note basically said, Mr. Ballard, thanks for going the long road to 1,000,000 miles with us. Enjoy Kona, the Detroit crew. Your connecting gate is 37A. He just gave me the note, and I actually kept it. So my point is that something that simple made a difference for me. And so think about some of the things that you might be able to do with your customers out there on a day-to-day basis that just makes them feel special. It makes them feel like that we're not just here to sell them a whole bunch of stuff and get money from them and just run off and that's all there is to it. And sometimes when things get really tough or dicey with them, maybe they go back and they remember things like this and things like you thanking them, and then they give us another chance. And so if we can do that, I think it'll be a better experience for all of our customers, because I will tell you, the other thing that I learned a long, long time ago in this business is that if you can come across that way as a consultant, you start dominating your territory. Your competition starts going elsewhere because they know they can't beat you, because you are the person. So make sure that you kind of do that. So saying that, another update is that, we've had, unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks, I always get nervous of a couple of hurricanes that have come through, bad storms. Being from South Mississippi, I've been living through hurricanes my entire life. I get that, I understand it. I was there when I was 12 years old, 13 years old as a kid when Hurricane Camille came through Mississippi Gulf Coast, and that was a Category 5. I didn't even realize until just in the last week or so that there's only been 3 Category 5s ever actually even hit the United States. And I remember what the devastation and what that looked like when that was all said and done. Since then, I lived, a lot of people don't realize it, but after Katrina, I lived in a camper for about 1.5 years, as many, many other people did. So what ends up happening is that after hurricanes, a lot of people don't understand the significance of it. It does disrupt lives a great deal. And I just want everybody to think about our folks, our consultants, our customers, and such, and managers that live down in the Florida area and also in Texas. They're having to deal with a lot right now. But I sent a note to the team, to a couple of them the other day, and I basically said, what you really strive for after something like this is really just get back to normal, and so I remember, main thing you remember after hurricanes is chainsaws buzzing where they're having to cut trees down, and gas lines and trying to get gas, and generators running all day long, hot as it can be because there's no power going on. I know that after Katrina, we didn't have power in Mississippi where I live for, I think it was 17 days. And so it's, you kind of take some of those things for granted, which, by the way, is why when I get our power bill every month, that's the first thing. I'm glad to write that check, and if they charge me 3 times as much for that, I'd pay it too, because I tell you what, you just don't realize how important that kind of stuff is. But it is a big, gigantic issue to deal with. Getting everything back to normal, getting cleaned up, and getting everything rolling again. It takes a long, long time, but you do it. People ask me sometimes about that. They go like, why would anybody want to live there? Well, it's just where you're from. It's where your friends are, where your family's at, and things like that. And so, you just stay. And so at the end of the day, things can be replaced, things can be rebuilt. And you do it, and we'll do the same thing. But I just want the folks in Florida to know we're thinking about you. We thought about you during the whole thing, and also you in Texas, the same kind of thing. That storm was crazy. Came in one time, backed out, and come in again. These things are just they make no rhyme or reason sometimes for all of that. But I will also say this, and that is that regardless of what it is during the course of a year, there's always adversity that you have to overcome, and it's just who does it the best, and you all will make sure you all will do the same thing. This is a stumbling block in front of you, and those of you down in Florida and also in South Texas, but everything will come together for you, and things will be okay. And just let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you, but just mainly know that we were thinking about you during this whole time. And glad to and the good news is everybody made it through safe and sound. And now it's really back to getting everything cleaned up and picking up the pieces and getting moving forward again. So look forward to all of that. And until next time, thank you.